Like,
Nani atatusaidia kweli? Mothers-in-law wametuchosha. Mara mother-in-law ukipenda mtoto wake ako na shida. Mara mother-in-law ukiwa mtoto wake akikupenda umemwekea juju. Mother-in-law mtoto wake akikupea kitu umekuja kukula pesa za mtoto wake. Hey, every time it is mother-in-law. But have you asked yourself, you daughter-in-law, is there something that you're doing to mother-in-law for her to react in that way? I know that most mothers are attached to their children, particularly their sons, much attached to their sons. And then as if you come to their lives, you are going to come as an external force that is brought into this family. How are you going to shield? How are you going to build this relationship to make it more solid and to make it healthy? That is the question that we want to focus on here. Instead of just blaming me, I've never had a mother-in-law, maybe I need to find out. I've never seen a video of a mother-in-law coming out and saying, oh, my daughter-in-law did this, my daughter-in-law did that. But we daughters-in-law, we come out and say, oh, mother-in-law did this to me. Mother-in-law has not shared her part. But today I am here to talk about this. There is a way we can shield our relationship. There is a way we can come together as daughters-in-law and mothers-in-law and bring a peaceful coexistence between us. Now, I want to focus on this special mother and daughter-in-law relationship that was there between Ruth and Naomi. Ruth and Naomi had two sons. So after the death of her sons plus, she brought her daughters-in-law and persuaded them and told them, please, I have no husband, I have no sons. Even if I am to get a husband now, I cannot give birth to children who will grow up and take you in as wives. So my advice would be, please go back to your people. Orpah respected that and she left Naomi. But we find this special daughter-in-law. This is Ruth. Ruth made up her mind to follow her mother-in-law. So this one, I can read it from the book of Ruth chapter 1 verse 16. This is what Ruth is telling Naomi after Naomi had told her to go back to her people. And Ruth said, entreat me not to leave thee or to return from following after thee. For whither thou goest, meaning that wherever you go, I will go. And where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God will be my God. Wow. So this is a daughter-in-law making up her mind. Where thou, okay, let me read it in good news. Where you die, I will die, and that is where I will be buried. So this is the daughter-in-law trying to tell the mother-in-law that I'm not going back. I am going to follow you. Your people will be my people. Your God will be my God. Wherever you die, that is where I will die, and that is where I will be buried. So there are some principles that we have to apply as daughters-in-law and mothers-in-law for us to make our relationship solid and healthy. Number one, we have to be loyal to each other. Her mother-in-law. Why am I saying this? Ruth was from Moab. Now, Naomi was going back to Bethlehem. Now, Ruth wants to cross to another group of people. These people, our God, my God is not their God. That is number one. And again, being that I am a Moabite, I'm going to face rejection. How about the hardship? I'm going with Ruth. I'm going with Naomi. But maybe where she used to stay, maybe she had even sold the land. That one was not even part of her thoughts. Her focus was to go with her mother-in-law. And they did what? They made a step. And what was important to her was that staying with her mother-in-law was all that she wanted. Is there something that our mothers-in-law can do to their daughters-in-law to build or to imitate how Ruth and Naomi lived? Are we able to be loyal to each other? Are we able to love each other? As you are facing hardship, if you receive a daughter from a different place, are you able to embrace her? Are you able to treat her? And you, as a daughter-in-law, if you go to another man's family, are you able to accept them? Are you able to embrace the family members? Are you able to treat the mother-in-law with respect? In different ways, we've seen daughters-in-law who have come to certain families, and those families end up to be, maybe when they come there, they find things divided, and then these daughters-in-law, they bring people together. And then we have these ones who come in when the family is united, and then the family splits. Then how about another thing that what other thing can we apply or put into practice to make our relationship solid and healthy? Character. Character matters. I know sometimes mothers-in-law can be very harsh. They can tell you things that you cannot contain. They can tell you things that when you look at them, they can really break down your heart. But how are you supposed to respond to them? How are you going to take whatever they tell you? Are you going to take it to heart, or you are going to keep it aside? I want to believe that Naomi had a noble character. She treated her daughters-in-law with respect. She treated her daughters-in-law with love. And that is what was reciprocated. On the other hand, we have daughters-in-law. The mothers-in-law accept them, embrace them, and then when they come, they start showing, they start disrespecting the mothers-in-law. They can even stand and abuse them. They can even stand and fight them. The third character that we can imitate from here is perseverance. To persevere. This message is talking to me and maybe someone out there who is facing a challenge with the mother-in-law, or who has a problem with the daughter-in-law. Maybe they're not having that peaceful coexistence. As a daughter-in-law, you can come into a certain family and you find the kind of work there backbreaking. You can work from morning till evening till night. You can decide and do what, and persevere. But this perseverance comes with so many things. When we leave our families, we at times come from beautiful families, well stable, but then when you go to another family, you find things are not actually what you expect. The warm welcome, there is no welcoming. You come in and you are already rejected. So how are you going to win this? You can persevere. As you're persevering, but through perseverance, that is why Ruth decided to go with Naomi. And when they were with Naomi in Bethlehem, things weren't that easy. Remember, Naomi had no place to stay. They had no food. So who was providing for her? It was the work of the daughter-in-law. She would go to, there was this man called Boaz. So Ruth would go to Boaz's farm and then pick up the remaining food from the farm, and then she would take it to the mother-in-law, and then they eat. So that was she also, when she entered there, she first showed hard work. She was a hard-working lady. Then she persevered. Ruth's relationship, because if this one can be applied in our relationship as a mother-in-law and a daughter-in-law, I think our relationship can be prolonged. And the final thing, and the most important one, is this: we have to trust God. Remember, trusting God in difficult times, it isn't very easy. But Ruth and Naomi, I want to believe that they trusted God. And in the end, now look at this: Ruth gets married to Boaz, and in this lineage, that is where Jesus is being born. It isn't easy, but when we trust God in everything, He will surely help us. So mothers-in-law, I daughter-in-law, we need to love each other. And there are these daughters-in-law who, when they come in, they take the sons fully. If the husband is working, they forget about the mother-in-law. That isn't very good. Kindly, if you found that this mother-in-law and the son-in-law had a very strong bond, please make sure that you keep the bond. If there is something that this son-in-law was doing to the mother-in-law, and now when you come in, this is where hatred comes. This is where hatred comes. As a daughter-in-law, you come, you find this son-in-law and mother-in-law in their strong bond, yes, and then this son-in-law was the one providing was like a breadwinner to the family. So when you come in, all the support stops. So what will happen? Mother-in-law will have you in heart and mind that you are the one who has done what? You are the one who is stopping the son from assisting. Please, let us always remind our husbands. Let us always remind these sons that they need to remember their mothers. I know there are those ones who, when they come, they think about their families. Now, for example, if I get into someone's family, I will first think about my mother and my father, and then I forget his family. No, that isn't good, and it isn't fair, and that is where the wrangles begin. When things stop abruptly. If you get to a family, I know your husband will tell you the relationship that they have with their parents and how it is. If you find such kind of a relationship, if it is a strong relationship, please build it. Because if you break it, it's like you're distancing yourself from the family, distancing the husband from his family. So in case of anything, you won't have anyone to talk to. But if we keep our relationship, and I can see and I believe that there are some people who say, these mothers-in-law, even if you love them, they are not lovable. Yes, there are those ones who are not lovable, but show them love. If they insult you, cry, don't fight. Cry to your God and ask God for forgiveness, and always try to be the best version of you. So I don't know what your thoughts are. Please leave your thoughts down on the comment section. If it is true, if it is not true, you feel free to share with me. See you on my next video. Bye bye.
Subscribe.